was owner of 22 railroad companies. He owned the North $1 million to help fight the Civil War from his own money. So, a lot of history in this whole area. But, yeah,
What nationality was Waller?
pardon?
What nationality?
Boy, I don't know what nationality Blair would have been. But you know, thinking of Milford the other day, I often think of all the grocery stores we had in town, you know, and of course we still have a very nice grocery store. But I was thinking of my wife's father. Remember up where Mr. G's is. Remember the Pfeiffer family, Kay? They were in our grade at school. Well, they built that for, they sold appliances. And I can remember Irene's dad went up and looked at that when he got out of business. He was thinking of making a grocery store there. And then he got thinking, well, it's too far out of town in Milford. You know.
Not far from Perkins.
Yeah, but you know, a person can just think of all the changes. The schools, who would have thought Okoboji come to Milford, Arnold Spark come to Milford, just many things.
I was thinking, you know, how our history kind of disappears on us too. There were two buildings that were destroyed in the last year or so that were here forever. Anybody know which they were?
Well, Smith,
Lumber.
Smith Lumber.
Smith Lumber Company was, that was one of the first lumber yards in this country when when Milford moved from the old town up into here. That was one of the first businesses in this area. Anybody know what the other one was?
Well, that elevator was right across, that's
Oh, yeah,
the-
well, yeah, that's part of
There.
it. Yeah, that's, there's another one though. Probably was so inconspicuous that most of the people didn't even know it. But it was that little building that was right north of the, you know, where there is an apartment house right now.
Oh, Paulie's.
Paulie's old place, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
That was originally in the Paulie family, his sister, what did they used to call them? She set up a shop there, a millinery shop. You know, and they did too. They just you know, bang, they're gone. And there's your history. You know, I've been looking for, and I don't even think Jerry has. If he does, I don't know about him. But there's two pictures I've been looking for photos of. Number one is I've been looking for a photo of the old gazebo that sat in Florence Park out there. And if any of you have any in your old family albums and stuff like that, I would sure like to have them. And the other one is, I'm talking about the Milford City Hall. I don't mean some people say the old City Hall. Well, that was built back in the 30s, but I'm talking about the old City Hall that was right across the street here, right next to what I always think was Car Chevrolet is what I think of, you know. But I would like to get photos of those two places and so on. Some of you can remember going to
The jail was there too.
Huh?
The jail was there.
Well, the jail was there, the city council met there, it was a library, the fire department, you know, it was all in one building and so on like that. I could tell you a lot of stories about that, because my dad was when he took the job working for the city, that was one of his jobs, was to sweep out that place, plus keep it clean, and he was a chief of police, you know, on the whole ball of wax. You know. But those are two photos I've been looking for, so if any of you ever run across them, give me a buzz and so on. Once in a while you get somebody to give you something. Let's see if I got it here. Oh yeah. A couple of years ago, Muriel Bergen gave me a buzz, and she had a whole bunch of photos that I really are wonderful, and she got me kind of started on a little different hobby. Her husband, whose name was John Bergen, was a mason, and he started, I don't know where he started, what some of the beginnings was, but one of the main ones that I know of is up here in Maywood. He built 8 pillars up there. That was the entrance of Maywood, and that was started by Joe May, who was quite a prominent individual here in Milford back in the 1920s and 30s, something like that. But anyway, John Bergen made a whole bunch of these stone, and as far as I can tell, like I say, I got kind of a buggy about it, and I started taking pictures of it, and got into one of the computer things that kind of put this book together, and I'll pass it around and take a look at it. And LaFoy made probably one of his masterpieces is right across from the Arnold's Park City Hall. It's right there where, I don't know who's there now, but it was Artsy Tartsy for a while. And Shooter Allen's wife, she took it over, and she took these big, nice, beautiful pillars that were, well, at least 8 feet high, and she chopped them all down about that, so I kind of chopped some of her history up there.
He was a candy man.
Huh?
He was a candy man too.
Well, it's originated, yeah. But anyway, that was one of his masterpieces in there, and quite a few houses in Arnold's Park. But what I wanted to say is that this area is very unique in having these stone pillars around. I've been in different lakes and different places around the Middle West. I don't know of any of them that has as many of these pillars. And you know, you're like, if I ask you, how many telephone poles or how many light poles are they between Arnold's Park and Milford? Well, we don't know because we never look. You know, they're just something that they think that's always there, and that's the way with a lot of these stone pillars. They've always been there, and we just look at them. Yeah. So anyway, that's what. But so if any of you run across any of those pictures for the Florence gazebo out there and so on, because I remember as a kid playing out there and so on like that. And our band, remember the Milford City Band went out there, and I think John Day had us out there playing when I was about in 3rd grade, and played with the city band. I remember some of the older guys playing, probably wondering what the heck we were doing out there, and I don't remember any of the high school. Well, maybe we did not.
Was this kind of like you see in the movies that had held a little band then that
Yeah.
in the summertime they could down and play in the
Yeah, it was right in the middle of
so
Florence
it's
Park.
big enough to hold
Oh,
a
yes,
small band.
it could hold quite a few people. It was open and so on like that, and they had concerts, and speakers were out there at different times and so on like that. Well, you know, now Florence Park, anybody know who it was named after?
Florence Park, you mean?
Yeah, not Jerry, you can get out of it, Jerry. Anybody else know? Where's the word Florence come from? Anybody know?
Italy.
No, the lady. It's
Oh, girl.
named after a lady. Does anybody know who? What
Somebody's
lady?
daughter.
Who?
Somebody's daughter, I don't
It was,
remember.
well, no, somebody's wife.
Oh, a wife.
Doc Fuller. Doc Fuller's wife, that was her name, Florence.
Is this the Fuller
That's-
Airport people? Same
Same family. They're Gillettes are related to them out there, and so on like that. So, well, Jerry and I have jabbered on here. Some of you have lived here a number of years too. It's not just he and I. The idea is if any of you have ideas and so on, and okay, I found as I was doing this stone deal, and back of your folks' house that they built up there is a stone fence back there,
Oh, yes,
right?
yes. I don't,
Who built that? Jim?
Buckles built, I believe Buckles built it. And I think it's because he couldn't pay Dad money, and so he worked off his bill.
By building that
By
fence up?
building that stone fence.
Oh,
That's behind the
Yeah.
west end alley of Buchanan Park.
1208 or something like that. Yeah, it's right
Mhm.
there. Kind of gone in disrepair a little bit. Ione?
I had an experience with that fence. I babysat Kay and her brother John one night, and I was supposed to do the dishes, which I did, and then I was to take the garbage out to that fence. Well, what I think happened was some cat was there. It scared me so, I'll never forget that fence as long as I live. I bet I went back to the house and heard. It just went.
Shut the door, huh?
No, it was something else.
Was
So you were a
great to-
babysitter for Kay?
Well, just occasionally,
Oh,
No, we moved to California in, I think 44 for sure, we were out there. And my mom babysat for you.
yeah, I know that. So was your aunts were Sunday school teachers of mine too.
Yeah, and all three are still alive. They're 91,
Oh, is she?
93, and 95.
They're how old?
91,
Oh,
93, and 95.
Gee, they
And
must-
their mother grew up in what is now the funeral home, the P-A-T-O-N, Patton.
Oh, sure, sure.
I think he had the elevator. And their oldest daughter is grandmother to these three, and the younger daughter is my grandmother.
Oh, that's it. And
So we're distantly related.
Yeah, in Milford, you don't want to badmouth anybody.
No. I'm in.
Probably related to somebody.
My grandmother lived in that beautiful big house that her parents built. And Mildred Snook told me when she resided there that she researched the house, and maybe you had this history down. Every board in there, great-grandfather kind of hand-picked before it was put into the house. It came from, the wood came from Fort Dodge. And she said that house is solid. It doesn't squeak and creak in our 4 seasons of extreme weather. And then my grandma, Lena Williams, Lena Patton Williams, when Grandpa Frank Williams married her, they moved 2 blocks. The house that's right across from our school.
Mhm.
And after my mother was born in that house, Grandpa built a new house 2 blocks west. So back to your 2, 2, and 2. And my grandparents lived in that far from the Catholic church where I grew up on that block, and I could safely walk at age 4 to my grandparents, way through town. It
Yeah,
was
I
an
don't-
awesome time to grow up.
Well, yeah, and I just think about growing up here in Milford when I was a kid, it was the whole town was a playhouse. I mean, somebody said, well, what'd you do? Well, I said, I remember a lot of times on Saturday or Sunday when nobody was at the Smiths or the Anderson Lumber Company, that we went down and played tag and played in the lumber yard, Can you imagine doing that today?
You don't let your kids out of the yard. You watch them now, even in the yard.
Yeah, well, I get on the kids today, but but of course you have to be careful in town too, because everybody knew who you were, and if you did anything wrong, they'd let you know.
Grandpa would find out.
Yeah. Jerry?
I often think a lot of the older people that lived in town, one of the things they really enjoyed, and that was just going down to the depot when the trains come,
Oh,
just
yeah.
to see who might be going somewhere, or who might be coming, or what came in, and who was getting what. That was kind of the hub of the town, really, the old depot.
Yeah.
I can remember when my grandfather, he'd go by train from Milford to Spirit Lake to pay his taxes.
Oh, yeah.
And he'd go down 2 hours before the train was due.
I've always been half mad at when they named the streets and avenues in Milford, they blew it. I mean, you got A and O, all that. I mean, I could pick out names of pioneer families in here that the name started with A, and I could go to B for Bascom, and C with Case, and D. You could just go down the list, and they'd name A, B, C, D, E, F, G, you know.
I've always-
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
I always agree with you on that. I can't understand that. It's so uncreative and they have.
Same way at the county, they say did the same, put it just a generic. The guy lives on 370th Avenue. Oh, where the heck is
Yeah,
370th Avenue?
I totally agree. The name you can remember so easily anyway. Why not name them names?
Biggest problem I think I would have though is as you get down into the numbers, trying to find some of my pioneers, there's probably 3 or 4 that have the same initial, you know, for the first last name and so on like that. But they'd have to flip a coin or something.
Well,
like
they'd
that.
all think it was for them anyway.
Well, I'm sure it would, yeah. I got a picture of the Milford Depot here. You might
Oh.
like to take a look at it, so.
I remember that.
Yeah,
That was fun.
It was kind of, if
What
I
happened
remember
to the
that,
depot where-
that waiting room was kind of,
Is that demolished or is that?
oh yeah.
Oh, it's gone.
It was, there's a house where Jawako, you know,
Okay.
and you go half a block to the west, and on the right-hand side, those people took that house, or took the depot and made the house out of it. That's-
Where'd they move it?
They didn't move it, they just tore it down, they used all the lumber, and they
Oh.
made their, who lives there now? Jerry, do you know?
Yeah, barbers.
Barbers live there, yeah.
Oh, that, okay. yeah.
That was made out of the Milford
That was
Depot.
the depot lumber, okay.
Yeah.
I know where it is.
And, you know, that's what I would try to trace these depots too. Like the one in Okoboji is the Bob that has the car deal up here, you know, over there. He incorporated the Okoboji Depot into his house. The Triboja Depot is in the Northland Motel up there. And there's a house that took the Orleans on, and I've never found them. I've been still looking for. That's another one I'm trying to dig out. Is what happened to the Arnold's Park Depot,
Lake Parks Depot, you know what happened to that?
the Lake Park.
Yeah.
No, I don't know.
They have made it into a museum. That whole
Oh, have
block
they?
it's got the complete complex, the depot, the jail.
Oh,
Then they moved in a prairie house and fixed it up. So they've got quite an operation over there.
and anybody know what happened to the Arnold's Park Depot?
I think it was just tore down.
Just tore down, not used lumber for anything, Jerry? Not- okay.
I thought one of those was made into a museum.
That's Spirit Lake.
Oh, is that?
That's a Spirit Lake
Spirit
one.
Lake,
Yeah,
yes.
that's
Okay.
it up there.
Right where it was.
Yeah, right where it was. Yeah, there were 2 depots up there, and that
Well, I
was
got
just one of
mixed
them.
up in that.
And the old roundhouse
So,
was
yeah,
just north of the depot.
Milford, north of this depot of ours, was the livestock yard.
Yeah, right back to your place.
Yeah, you could hear those cows bawling, waiting for the train.
I always think of that Milford Depot. I worked on the railroad when I got out of high school for 2 years, 56 and 57. And I can see the train always got to Milford. They wanted to make sure it got there just a little before 5 o'clock. Because the engineers and the guys, I swear they'd jump off that train while it was still going so they could hurry up and hit the liquor store before it closed at night. I can
Who's
just see them
bootlegging?
guys now. Because see, by the time they went to Arnold Sparks Fair Lake, it'd be too late.
I remember Dad